In some sad news, Hollywood has truly lost an icon. And maybe the term icon is a little overused sometimes, but it's not here. Richard Roundtree has passed away at the age of 81. This comes to us from the folks over at Variety who write the following. They said this: Richard Roundtree, an icon of blaxploitation film, who starred as Detective John Shaft in Gordon Parks' 1971 action thriller, died Tuesday afternoon after a short battle with pancreatic cancer. He was 81 years old. His death was confirmed by Patrick McMinn, his manager since 1987. He said, Richard's work and career served as a turning point for African-American leading men in film, McMinn said in a statement. The impact he had on the industry cannot be overstated. Rob, I don't think there is an ounce of exaggeration in what he just said. When I've seen a lot of, for instance, just black actors over the years in talking about their career sometimes, I've lost count how many times Richard Roundtree's name has been referenced when talking about inspiration, people that have forged the way, laid the groundwork, all that kind of stuff. You go back to 1971, which was before I was born, but you go back to that time and like to have a megastar like that emerge. And he kind of became the face also of an entire genre of cinema in many ways and became an inspiration for generations and generations. So much so that even when, Samuel Jackson did his Shaft movies, when he popped up in there, I remember being in the movie theater, there was a big pop in the audience when he showed up. Guys, we want to take a second to thank a sponsor of this video, Vessi. Now, you guys know I'm not exactly the most fashion conscious guy in the world, but I love a great pair of shoes that are comfortable and I can wear almost anywhere. And growing up in Canadian winters when my feet got wet a lot, waterproof would be nice too. Enter Vessi. They make the claim that they're not just fashionable and super comfortable, they're also waterproof. Now, you guys remember, when I got my first pair of Vessis, I put them to the ultimate waterproof test. I actually stuck my foot in my pool, my feet stayed dry, and the shoes stayed dry. Incredible. And they're the most comfortable pair of shoes I ever owned. Well, that made me want another pair. So I got another pair of Vessis that look great and just equal that world-class comfort that I got from that first pair of shoes. They are absolutely my favorite shoes that I've ever owned. Imagine your favorite sneaker style supercharged with waterproof technology and unmatched comfort. No matter how you like to stay active, Vessi has the shoes for you. Trail-ready high tops, effortless slip-ons, and classic court shoes, all with a waterproof twist. They are just as comfortable and stylish as your favorite sneakers, but even more versatile. So guys, if you're anything like me and you want the most comfortable pair of shoes that look great, that you can take out hiking, wear to work, go to the gym, or walk through the water and snow, go to Vessi.com/Campea and get yourself a pair today. Go to Vessi.com/Campea and get 15% off your order using the code Campea. Talk a little bit about, Richard Roundtree, the impact he's made on the industry, and ultimately the legacy he's left behind.
Well, I got to tell you, I first saw Shaft because I don't know how, my dad was not a guy who went to the movies, but somehow he saw Shaft in the theater. And it was a while. I mean, I was really young when it first came out, but my dad, when Shaft was on TV somehow or whatever, we saw it. And I got to say that just because hearing my dad, I thought Captain Kirk was very cool growing up. He was my favorite fictional character. But when I first saw Shaft and listening to my dad's enthusiasm, I'm like, John Shaft is just as cool as Captain Kirk. I mean, I was, and there were 3 Shaft movies. And a lot of people don't know there was a short-lived Shaft television series that you can get on physical media on Warner
I think
Archive.
There were like 7 episodes or something like that.
Yeah. Warner Archive put it out. You can get it. But, Roundtree had he was a guest star on every television show under the sun. And
he was even on Love Boat.
Oh yeah. He was. I wish that he had more of a leading man. Like he stayed kind of in television. He popped up in a lot of movies too.
Yeah.
But he never was able to, I think, parlay the 3 Shaft movies into the kind of career he should have had. He should have been the Sam Jackson of the 70s and the 80s in movies. But dude, I remember going to see Larry Cohen's Original Gangsters when they brought back like Fred Williamson and Pam Grier and Richard Roundtree. I went and saw that at the Cinerama. It opened at the Cinerama. I was so excited to see it. I went to the first show and there was only like 5 people in the theater, in the Cinerama. But it was one of the greatest movie-going experiences of my life because all 5 of us were there for the right reasons. And every time, I mean, nobody had a better intro than Fred Williamson does in that movie. But it was so cool to see him. I mean, people were like, Shaft. He wasn't Shaft, because they couldn't say that, but he kind of was. And it was awesome. And whenever he was in a movie or a TV show, he classed up the joint. And my friend Darren Scott, who produced the movie Menace to Society and made the Tales from the Hood movies, he put a thing on his Facebook page yesterday, and he said that he was, I want to say he was at like Musso and Frank's or something. He was at a restaurant and he saw Richard Roundtree, and he was able to go up, and Darren's a black producer, and he said, he got to say to him, without what you did in the early 70s, without the ceiling that you shattered, I would not have the career I have today. And I thought, that was it. At that time in the early 70s, he stood as a beacon. I mean, he was the coolest MFer in movies. And he had the greatest theme song.
He really did. He really did. So again, for those of you just finding out, Richard Roundtree, a true, moved the needle icon in our industry, passes away at the age of 81. Hey guys, thanks so much for watching this video. Make sure you like the video, leave a comment, and subscribe to our channel. And don't forget, we have a daily podcast called the John Campea Show podcast, available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or your favorite podcasting app of choice. Go and subscribe to it today so it'll be there when you need it.